Hello. Oh, that's perfect. Gonna be hard to imagine you as a little boy looking so cute in that dress, but we'll go with it. Consistent sound. Really love it. Oh, pleasure. Love it. Okay, so I know you know all about this guy, right? I just dropped something. I know you know all about him, right? And what's going on. And you are, thank you very much, and you are perfect for Peabody. Everybody can see that right away. So that's wonderful. I'm just questioning what I was about to say. I was questioning it while I was thinking it. Because I'm aware that we do have to sing. And our focus, I think, well, one of our primary focuses here at the conservatory is voice building, vocal technique, languages, you know, all of those things. This has got to be fundamental because you can hang the other things on that, but this foundation has got to be in place. Notwithstanding all that, I think that he could, I liked it, Mary, and I thought you were adorable, I think your voice is beautiful. I think that he could have a tiny bit more urgency.
Okay.
That's what I thought. I thought it was a bit restrained.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean that you have to, run all over the stage, although there are some directors who will ask that for sure. I've done Carabino, and they will ask you to do all kinds of things. And sometimes, it's difficult and to hold on to your technique when you're having to be in all kinds of different and crazy postures and do things where you don't feel your center and you can't feel your breath underneath you, can't feel your support, and all those different things. And I do realize that this is a moment to really concentrate on these things in this setting, being in the conservatory. But I think we have to work on all of those things together, right? And that's part of the work too. I think that it could have a little bit, he's awkward, right? I think he's awkward. He doesn't know what to do with all this stuff. Where to put it. All these feelings, right? You guys went there. But I think he doesn't know where to put all of these feelings that he feels. Like, oh my gosh, all this stuff is happening. What is all of this stuff? I'm thinking of a film. Did you see Thelma and Louise?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Maybe that's not a film. It's not the easiest subject matter. But anyway, there's one moment in the film where I don't remember which character, but the Gina Davis character has an experience with a man that she never had before. And she said, I don't even know what to, she's trying to explain to her friend that, Susan Sarandon, what she experienced. And I think it's like that. It's like I have so many feelings. Can you help me? What in the world is going on here, man? With all this stuff that I feel everything from the top of my head all the way down to my tongue, and I don't even know what this is, but you've been down this road before. Can you help me? Can you tell me what I'm supposed to do with all this stuff, right? He's around these wonderful, sweet ladies, and there's some level, I think, of energy and attraction with the other gals, I think, with the Countess and Susanna and all that, everybody that's around, because he's a young teenage boy, and there's this incredible surge, of hormones, and all this stuff is happening for the first time. So this experience is all so new. So I think that you can afford to be awkward and not knowing what to do, and how can you help me? I don't know what to do with all this stuff. What is this? I don't know. So it's that. So I think you can afford to allow yourself to be a little bit more. Now, Merritt, I'm going to say that, but there are lots of ways, and I say to my students all the time, there are lots of ways to sing. There are. That was one of the big shocks of my life when I got out there, is that, well, wait a minute, I wasn't taught that you're supposed to do it like the way she's doing it, and the way that he's doing it. There are lots of different ways of making music. Many, many, many different ways. Certain things are fundamental and they don't change, but people can find different ways of getting there. And because I suggest this doesn't mean that that is the only way. You could play it that way. I mean, you might get some crazy director who says, okay, Carabino, is paralyzed. And you have to play it like that. And that could happen. I've done some of that wild stuff with Peter Sellers where who knows, you're in a wheelchair throughout the whole thing and you have to make that work too. So there are lots of different ways to tell this story and to express this moment. But I think that one of the things that is absolutely true is just that he's so incredibly excited about what's going on, and it's a wonderful, delicious thing to feel so many feelings. So I think you can allow yourself to, the voice is quite good. The voice is quite good. It's very much in line, it's beautiful. It's consistent sound. I love your sound. It's wonderful. Again, as I would say with Carly, watch some of the ends of the phrases. Some of them weren't finished all the way to the end. And just be aware of the tonality in some places. Don, Ned wanted to sit underneath a little bit, but that was not, that was just something that happened. I don't feel like that's something that warrants a big discussion. Okay? So, who's there with you?
So I have the Countess who's sitting just on one of those like little bed
sheds or something.
Okay.
Okay.
And then Susanna is playing the guitar.
Okay, so what are you doing? You're speaking, what are you doing?
I'm singing to the Countess. Susanna asked me to sing one of my love songs, and I actually wrote this one for the Countess.
Mm-hmm.
So I was actually going to ask, because I wrote it for her, is there some level of nervousness that goes along? I mean, he's kind of an awkward kid anyway, but is there a little bit more giddy, nervous energy around it because he's singing about love to the one that he supposedly loves?
Well, don't you think, I think there would be a certain amount of ill at easeness in that moment. I mean, until now, we've not seen that sort of thing has happened before. It's a moment. It's a moment.
Okay.
It's a moment. You know, you've prepared this. Susanna, presumably, you've rehearsed this. So this is a moment that, as you've been anticipating, right? And so I think that, yeah, there's a level of uncomfortableness with it, also because it's true. She is the Countess. She's the grande dame around there. I mean, you don't know, maybe she's not going to react the way you think she would react. Maybe she'd be angry, maybe she'd be embarrassed, maybe she couldn't believe that you would present something like, you don't know how it's going to go over, how she might respond. So I would say yes, but I think that one of the things that you can do, you can afford to allow happen, as we talked about with Carly, in the beginning when she's she's getting ready for that, and you see all those different people, if you choose to direct it entirely to the Countess, I mean, maybe you can look back. Maybe you need some encouragement, and maybe you have to look back sometime at Susanna. Is this okay? Am I doing it right? Do you think it's okay? And you can show the different relationships, and we can see that on your face. I think we have to see where's Susanna? Where's the Countess? What's your relationship to both of them, and how do you regard them? How do you look at, both of them? And you can, there are opportunities for you to show that, right, on your face, in addition to your nervousness, and I don't know how she's going to feel about this, and maybe I said that wrong, this, no, I got the words wrong, I didn't mean to say it like that. All that teenage boy stuff, it can be the way, whatever's in your imagination in this moment.
Okay.
Because this is your moment to create it the way that you want to create it. Other times you're going to have to get behind the ideas of other people's vision, and you got to sell that and make it seem as if it were your own, right? But this is your opportunity to do it the way that. But I always am coming from a place of truth and honesty, because I just believe that the stage is a magnifying glass. I don't think you can lie. I just don't think you can lie. I think that if you lie, we know that, and we then somehow disengage, I think.
Yes.
And somebody else does too. So, I think you got to tell the truth. And what that means, though, is that you, Mary, have got to expose yourself.
Okay.
And that's the part. Because you don't know how we're going to take this, just like Cherubino doesn't know how the Countess is going to feel about that. So you can merge those two. You can work with what you, Mary, the singer, is actually feeling about that moment, about allowing yourself to, be goofy and whatever kind of teenager that you want to be, like, I don't know, how am I going to do it? And she looked right at me that time. I can't believe she looked right at me. All of those different things. You can, that's her, right, on the guitar. But you could maybe look at her, and maybe she pushes you and say, go. Countess. How am I going to go? Okay. And she says voy, which is formal, right? And I think that's important because this is an opera all about class. It is all about class. So I think there's still a level of you having to maintain and keep some sort of separation and keep some sort of distance because of that, but also because you're a young teenager and you can't really appreciate all that stuff right now. There are still moments that you just want to come and be natural and be yourself, right? So there you've got a lot of stuff to work with there.
Yes.
Let's see what that might look like, right? So I understand that you're going to be trying this in front of us, but your trying this in front of us is a good thing. This is terrific. You're going to use your Mary Burke trying this in front of this audience at Peabody Conservatory. You're going to use all that, what you really do feel anyway, and pretend that it's Cherubino playing it to the Countess.
Okay.
Okay? And as I said, do use the introduction.
Okay.
You know, you can use that, like, because you've got all that time. What is that?
It's him being nervous.
It's him being nervous. It's him like, oh my God, I can't go through with this. I was so excited earlier this morning. I couldn't wait to do it, but now I don't want to do it. I'm too scared. I'm too scared. Maybe she turns around. You know, maybe like, oh my God. What are the words again? Wait, what are the words? You know, maybe you can do something like that. I love it. Why the heck not? Let us see the countess, but let us see where she is. Now you're a little bit, I think you're, I loved all that stuff, that was great. I think you're a little bit feminine though.
I was gonna ask about that. I don't know how to do. I
You don't know how to do boy, right? Don't know how to do boy, man. Well, I mean, they've got like less parts, right? So, and they're graceful, right? They just like walk and, you know, there's no like holding themselves together and like, hey, how you doing, you know? So I think that you can be blocked, you know, square. You know, less, I would say maybe less, I mean, nothing delicate like this, like what you were doing, that's girl, which later you're gonna have to do later in the opera, but that's a tricky thing too. So I just think it's, I think it's less, you know, grace and like, you know, nervousness, you know. Play with it.
Okay.
And you know what you can do? When in your life, watch little boys. Just watch them. I mean, everything I'm saying today is taking a whole different turn. But I'm just saying, when you're, you know, in your life, or if you have nephews or anything like that, or you're passing a playground, just watch them. Just look at them as character study. Just watch how they are and how they, you know, how they walk and how they behave. And they're not thinking that much about what they're doing and what they look like. They just do it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They just do it.
Okay.
So I think that the way you are now, like so sweet and cute, so all that's gonna happen. What if you took off your
I was
shoes?
gonna ask if I could do this.
Yeah, yeah. All of this is helping you, it's opening up something in you, Mary Burke. Okay? So let's just see. That's a girl move, by the way. All right. Okay. This be, I guess, more like square. Okay, all right, okay. Very cute, very cute. That's adorable cute. I love it. Beautiful. Yeah, very, very nice. Very nice. Oh, look at you with your toe ring. This tells something very different from the gal in the black, cute little black dress and the little kitten heels. This shows something else about who you are, Miss Mary Burke. Very, very, very good. Lots of great courage. One of the things that I think that you could afford to do is that, she says donne, ladies, right? So I think that when you sing this aria, you can afford to put maybe Susanna. She doesn't have to be behind you so you don't have to upstage yourself.
Okay.
Maybe put her out there with the Countess so that you could refer to both of them from time to time. And you can use this idea of what I said about the way you look at Susanna, who you're more comfortable with and you hang out with more, and the way you look at the Countess and you see her. Because you know how it is with these people that we don't, it's like meeting, I don't know, a big important person, you know, that's someone that you've admired or heard so much about, and you're awkward and you can't get it together, and the wrong thing always comes out, and all that stuff. But also, one of the things that I thought while you were doing this, Mary, is that I think that there are moments that you can, what you did, which were beautiful, when you close your eyes and you let yourself just feel what you were feeling. That's gorgeous. Love that. Everybody's going to love that. I think that there are moments that you can allow yourself to be taken away with what you feel, and then you have to come back to, like, just sort of like what you did at the end, when you realized that you had to present, right? I'm presenting to the Countess, like presenting something in front of the Queen, right? So I think that there are moments like that. Do place Susanna and the Countess out there so that it gives you more to work with, right? Long way to go. And then Susanna maybe says, what are you doing? Get it together. Oh, I realized that I was born, you know what I mean? So you have to find little games like that and things like that that make the singing the aria interesting and alive for you so that it does for your audience. It means that you really have to open up your imagination all the time. And sometimes what you can do, we used to do this all the time, that if you have good friends here that you trust and you trust like where they're coming from and everything, that you have them work your arias with them. We used to do that in college all the time. I had my best girlfriend who's a soubrette, knows all of the mezzo-soprano repertoire, and I know all the soubrette repertoire because we would sing it for each other. And she'd be these different characters and say, no, that doesn't look good, Denyce, that doesn't look good. Do it like this. If there's somebody that you can work, they call them sometimes, John Morardi used to call them arias for two, where it isn't just an aria, for example, like Jeudi in Carmen, where she's on her own, but that's actually the presence of other people there, and you need their presence to help you with the aria, right? And you can have two of your friends, somebody be Susanna, and somebody be the Countess, and you find ways to relate how you're going to tell this story, and take all of that information, and it will be in your frame of reference. Just work that out that way and make it fun for yourself. Have a good time on Saturday nights when you guys are sitting around saying, you know what, let's take 30 minutes to look at this one aria. You don't even have to have a pianist. You can just sing it, a cappella like that, and just work on the characterization and say to the people that you trust, you believe that? How did that seem? That sort of thing, That can be, and it's great fun work. And it makes what we do, it brings it to life because we should be having fun. In my studio, so many of the girls are getting ready for their recitals and everybody's freaked out and everybody's so scared, like, oh my God. And I said, I really wish that this could be a time of celebration that you're so excited and looking forward to, but you got to do the work, though. You got to do the work. You've got to put into the work to be able to arrive at that. It's like, when you're getting ready for an exam, if you know the material, then you can walk through the door like, yes, bring it on. But if you don't, then you're like, oh my God, I got to do my recital, right? So, because things are going to come into play anyway, so take advantage of this time. Everybody take advantage of this time that you have here. This time is going to pass so quickly. And you have here so many professors who would give their time, I know, and work with you on whatever it is that you want to work on. But take advantage of the people here who are supporting you, who are encouraging you, who love you, and your friends to work out all of this stuff and make it fun for yourself. To choose this profession anyway is crazy. It's a crazy thing to do. But we do it because we have to, because you're called to do it. But that process doesn't have to be one of great, like angst, it could be a joyful process too. Very, very lovely work. You're beautiful, you're courageous, you got out there. I love all of the things you do. These things can be, you can develop this more. It can be much more detailed, but you're on your way, okay? But so take these things that we've talked about in this session, work on that in the mirror. If you don't want to work on that with some friends, put Susanna's over here, or change it up, put the Countess there, and see how you react to them. Right? And watch little boys, that's your homework. Watch little boys walking around and how they interact with each other. And just look at how they move their bodies, right? That'll be an important thing, that just moving of the body alone will help immediately bring in a lot of the characterization, right? Okay, much continued success. Thank you so much. It's 3:30. I was supposed to pick up my daughter at school right now. Everybody, thank you.